It is just on 16 past 10, the 5th of March, Thursday morning, which means it's Throwback Jams, music from the 90s. So it's our invitation to you. Family, friends, your pets. It's that 90s party. Now, my favorite subject, films. Joining us this morning, she's VP of Women Make Movies, a New York-based organization that helps raise funds for movies by and from women. She's in Pakistan these days for a very special cause, and it's for AFS. It is for the American Film Showcase, a collaboration between the U.S. Embassy and the University of Southern California, which aims to build people-to-people ties between the U.S. and other countries, and it's connecting filmmakers around the world. She joins us live this morning. Welcome, Ann Aguilar. What do your friends call you, Claire?
Claire for short.
We'll call you Claire for short.
I'm
Welcome
happy to
Pakistan.
be here. Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. Now, before we get into AFS and the sessions that you're having here in Pakistan, so I'm just thinking back to the films that I've done. 5 of the 5 films that I've done have been directed, scripted, and produced by women, Pakistani filmmakers, mind you. And one of the 5, the cinematographer, the DOP, is or was a woman and continues to work here in Pakistan and in the US. So women certainly having an impact and making an impact in the world of films.
Yes, absolutely.
And sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say that we see that in some of the nominations for the Oscars that just happened, especially in documentary. About 5 of the films that were nominated for a short film were directed by women. Yeah.
Now you're here for the American Film Showcase. You had a chance to speak to some of the youth here in Pakistan, aspiring filmmakers. What was that like? What was the energy like?
Oh, I love the youth here in Pakistan. They have such great energy, and there were a lot of women in our student group we spoke to yesterday, and they all have concerns. I think this is a global issue of being able to rise in the industry, especially in the media industry, in the entertainment industry, in the filmmaking industry, and to be able to be on a level equal playing ground as men and to be able to be successful. And they have good role models for that now.
Can you share some of the concerns? What were some of the things they were concerned about?
Well, there was an issue with trying to work in the industry, especially in different capacities, like for instance in the leadership positions of being a director or a producer, where these realms have been relegated to men usually, and how to be able to get across some of the sexism and the misogyny that's associated with these professions. But I think their enthusiasm and their energy, and also I think there's less of a patriarchal feel with the young people, and especially with the young men, so they feel like they're going to be able to accord equal respect and rights to their women peers.
What was your advice to them with respect to like how do we make ourselves heard? Because obviously on set, if you're in that leadership position, how does one make one's voice sort of audible? What was your advice to them?
Well, not my advice, but we spoke with a very dynamic woman editor yesterday who was saying that on set that you just have to be really loud. You have to be much louder than you can, and just keep repeating what you say. Just say it and say it and say it. And I think this is especially relevant in areas where, for instance, on the set, on the field, where sometimes, I have to say, frankly, men don't listen. So you have to double your volume and double the amount of things you have to say if you're a woman.
I've never heard that before. Men don't listen?
Yes, men don't listen.
Men were the best listeners.
They like to
talk.
talk.
We've got men in the room, not saying everyone's listening.
Yeah, I'm in a room full of blokes. What do you say?
We are listening. It's music from the 90s. We're speaking to Ann Aguilar, who's here for the AFS, the American Film Showcase, connecting filmmakers across the world. This is Everything But the Girl. Good morning. And you had a chance to meet, we just said before the track, with a lot of young ones, a lot of youth that are super enthusiastic and passionate about films and want to make an impact and do something. This was a question asked to me many years ago. as an actor. In fact, there was a parent that came to me and asked me, and she asked, so tell me, my daughter wants to get into acting. Can she make a living from this? And I sort of thought, I paused for a moment. I went, yes, you can. So as a filmmaker, I've met a lot of young boys and girls who've gone abroad, studied filmmaking, worked as gaffers and so on sets and so on, gained some experience and come back. What is your advice to them? If a parent were to come up to you today and say, Claire, can my son or daughter make a living from this? How do you answer that?
That's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
It's a very hard one. I think that luckily I had parents who were very supportive of what I did, and I had no idea what I was going to do until I was like 28 years old.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for them. God rest their souls. But then on the other hand, they were very supportive, and even though I didn't know my career trajectory, they were just really supportive. Yeah. I think for parents, it's really a challenge. I think you can make a living, but I have to say that in film, especially in documentary, it's very hard. However, what is interesting is that even though it's very hard and you see the long road ahead, and filmmakers see this too, or young people see this too, their passion and their excitement for film overrides that. So that one filmmaker said, just as an aside, that when all the signs say, no, 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 you can't make this film, you get no money, people say no, then you have to make the film. That's the thing that's going to push you over the top. When everybody says no, no, no. So even if your parents say, no, you can't make a living, or the financier says, no, I'm not going to finance it, that's your sign inside as a filmmaker to say, I must go on, I have to do this.
With that rejection, especially from the finance, that's a dagger to the heart.
Yes.
For any filmmaker.
Yeah.
But with platforms like the American Film Showcase or even Women Make Movies, what advice does it give to young filmmakers? Because that's the question, right? Where do I get my money from? I've got the idea. Where do I get the funding from? What is your sort of general advice, direction? This is the direction you need to head for funding, or this is what you need to do, not to do, etc. How do you explain it to young filmmakers?
A lot of filmmakers were, kind of daunted by that, but on the other hand, it's going to build character, so in the long run, it should be good. I would say a lot of the young people came up and they said, I'm sort of shy to approach my heroes in the field. One wanted to approach a very prominent producer, Ava DuVernay, and she started as a publicist and then she became a director. She now opens a studio in Los Angeles called Array. And my advice to her is just, be perseverant and be aggressive and don't be shy. And this young woman was not shy at all. And I could tell that she had the energy and the initiative to go for it. I said, you just Google somebody, you can find them. You don't really need to have, IMDb, which is a database for film professionals, has a free portal where you can find the representation or the agent of any actor, producer, director at all, and you can get in touch with them.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, and if you're very perseverant, you can just get in touch with anybody, and then just talk to anybody. The person who's driving your Uber car can be your boss in 10 years. You have no idea. Just talk to everybody. The person who is your neighbor could be a financier or have a rich uncle who can finance your next film. You just never know. Just be open to anything, and it'll happen if you want to make it happen.
It's like what they do in sales training, right? That next no is getting you closer to a yes. So
yeah.
Keep the no's coming.
Don't be discouraged. Yeah, when somebody's telling you no, say they're saying yes with their eyes.
So the American Film Showcase, we talk about connecting filmmakers from across the globe. Would you describe it as a network of filmmakers coming together, and can one talk to the other? Is that how you describe the American Film Showcase?
The result is definitely that. It's a global media program for diplomacy, and basically it's an exchange between American filmmakers and filmmakers across the globe. Mm-hmm. I've had a great opportunity of working with American Film Showcase for over 6 years, and have gone on 5 missions, including to Zimbabwe, Kosovo, Mexico, and the north of Canada. So, and going to Pakistan or coming to Pakistan has been a dream, because I've never been here, and it's just a really fascinating culture and very diverse and rich. So this is a great opportunity for me to learn as well as to talk to filmmakers and for me to share information with them.
Being involved with the AFS and gone across so many missions, and now here in Pakistan, do you find that there's something unique with our landscape and with our stories? Or is that too early of a question? And I'll tell you why. Because the films that we're producing right now, there's criticism that we are trying to be too Bollywood, or we are trying to, follow their lead. And then there's another sort of group that says, we need to be like Irani cinema. We've got stories, we need to tell them raw. What is your take on that? I mean, in the little time that you spent here in Pakistan, what would you say to both groups, and what would you say? Do we have a unique, landscape or a unique way of how we could do things?
I have limited knowledge, but from what I understand, Pakistan has had a rich tradition that was unfortunately, because of censorship, was stopped. So now there's a whole new generation that is learning how to make cinema, and things have relaxed a bit so that you're able to tell those stories. But then there's a long-standing foundation of culture, entertainment, of music, and of cinematic tradition to build upon. So I think the challenge is to really wed that cinematic tradition of the past to all the exciting contemporary stories that people can tell now. And hopefully it can do that. I felt that from the young generation, but then you kind of skipped a generation of filmmakers who they were censored, and now their grandchildren are going to be the filmmakers of tomorrow, right?
Yeah. We're going to go to a track. Do you like Billy Ray Cyrus?
Oh, yeah.
Just for you. Achy Breaky Heart. It's 2011, the 5th of March, Thursday morning, the American Film Showcase. We have Claire Ann Aguilar, who's a VP of Women Make Movies here in Pakistan. The American Film Showcase. We talked about films, I want to touch on documentaries. Pakistani documentaries have made a mark at a global level. Oscar and so on. There's also a lot of local criticism that a lot of the documentaries that make the mark, in quotation marks, in inverted commas, and win awards, reflect or shed a very negative light on Pakistan. Is that the purpose of a documentary, and is that what is your perspective? What is your perception of this?
I think it's true that there have been so many Pakistani documentaries that have gotten exposure and have made a mark on the cinematic scene, including Saving Face, which is the Oscar winner of Best Short by Charmaine Obaid. And also, I've known some documentary filmmakers in the past. I've commissioned some films. One film by Sabia Sumar called Dinner with the President, in which she has dinner with Musharraf. And that was premiered at the Sundance Film Festival. It won the EU award and got a lot of accolades. And I've heard that there's been leveled a lot of criticism of the documentaries, that they paint a negative portrait of Pakistan. But hopefully we're able to work with filmmakers who are looking at, there's such a diverse range of topics and things to cover that even if they are different in scope, they don't always have to have a sort of a negative view, or if it's about the likely subjects of either the military or censorship or religion. They're all different subjects that include things like life in the rural regions or cultural life. There's a film that I'm working on right now that's about these religious fairs that take place. They're circuses that take place alongside the religious fairs. There's a word for it in Urdu.
Here in Pakistan?
Yeah, they're in the different areas. They're like...
Okay.
Basically, they're religious festivals, but then there's a circus that the people go to like on their downtime to be entertained by, and then they go back to the religious fairs, and they take place in the country. And so there's a filmmaker, a female filmmaker, who's documenting that. So there's a great range of stories to be told, and hopefully they can penetrate globally and be able to show a different view of Pakistan. There's also a great web series that I think you can watch online. It's called The Divas of Karachi. It's kind of like the housewives of Karachi, but they're all really dynamic entrepreneur women who either have businesses or they have different kinds of cultural or educational aims. One's a race car driver, and they look at women in really different positive ways.
With the American Film Showcase, if young filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers want to be a part of it, where can we direct them? The Facebook page, Claire, do we know?
Yeah, they can go to the AFS Pakistan Facebook page, which stands for American Film Showcase.
Got it.
And also we're going to have a public screening program tomorrow of a film called Qualified. And they're welcome to come to that. That's an open screening at...
It's today?
Sorry, it's
today.
today. I'm sorry, I'm a little...
here it is.
I'm a little jet-lagged.
5th of March. We'll forgive you for that jet lag. Karachi, 5th of March at the PACC. Now, if people want to go, do they just turn up or ticket it? Or can we do...
They just message on Facebook.
Message on Facebook that I want to come. Okay, and then this register, that's how they register. Okay, that's happening today on the 5th of March at the Pakistan American Cultural Center. Claire is then traveling to Lahore. That's on the 9th of March at Foreman Christian College, and in Islamabad on the 11th of March. That's at the Pakistan National Council of Arts, PNCA, in Islamabad. And you'll be meeting young filmmakers. And is the American Film Showcase also commissioning projects, or that's not the scope of the AFS?
Not quite exactly, but
Okay.
there's an exchange program where
Okay.
people can basically come to do a sort of a boot camp training for their projects, and that's if you go to the AFS Facebook page, there's information on it.
There.
Yeah, and if anyone is around, if we're going to Lahore on Friday and then on to Islamabad, please come and say hello. It'd be great to meet people.
It's fantastic. And Claire, thanks very much for your... What are you working on right now? Are you working on any films?
Me,
or
I'm working
documentaries?
on a number of projects. I actually met with a Pakistani filmmaker this morning who has a great project about water and the relationship between Pakistan, China, and India in terms of water. So that should be really interesting.
That's awesome. Claire Ann Aguilar, VP of Women Make Movies, here as part of the American Film Showcase. Again, 5th of March, that's happening today in Karachi. Lahore, 9th of March, and Islamabad, 11th of March. You can head to the AFS Pakistan Facebook page, message, and you'll get the details there. Claire, thanks very much.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Super awesome to have you here. I wish I could pick your brain just a little more. But thanks very much. I hope we can meet again. And I'd love for you to tell me the energy that you gauge from people in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. Maybe at a later stage, maybe we'll have a discussion.
I hope I can come back and I can tell you.
We'd love to have you back. Thanks very much, Claire.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Claire Ann Aguilar, VP of Women Make Movies here in Pakistan for the American Film Showcase, connecting filmmakers across the globe. Those dates again, 5th of March, Karachi, 9th of March, Lahore, 11th March, Islamabad. This is Duran Duran. Come undone.